Hiya, we are live now.
Great, great. Hi, everyone. So,
Nubaba will give a short introduction.
okay, all right. I'll wait for that.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Craft of Writing, a session organized by Economic Studies Center ESC. We all understand the significance of good writing skills. Excellent writing skills are required for communication, and having them is an important requirement in today's job market. In order to help us with that, today we have with us Mr. Ehsanur Raza as our instructor. Mr. Raza began his career as an intern copywriter at Grey Group in 2006, eventually moving on to senior copywriter in 2009. He joined the Daily Star as Senior Editorial Assistant in 2011. Spending almost a decade at this leading media outlet as the editor for Rising Stars, Shift, Bytes, and Next Step, he is currently working as the editor of Toggle, the Daily Star's tech publication on startups, career, automotive, and lifestyle enhancements. Mr. Raza also freelances as a design consultant to the organizations requiring assistance with print, digital, and social media strategies. Has also been working as a cartoonist at the Daily Star since 2005. Welcome, sir. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much. And, saying things like he's worked for a decade and all that makes me feel really, really old right now. Anyways, so I'd like to get to know a little bit about our participants here. Is anybody here যারা professionally writing এর সাথে জড়িত বা এরকম কিছু? Whether it is academic research or news media or anything. Is there anybody here from there?
Hello, I'm Mutiul. I'm from IUT, and I've been writing for a small content blog, Upthrust. I've also been reviewing books for Daily Star.
Okay, that's
I'm
great.
involved in research.
Acha, reviewing books. So you work with Sarah.
Yes.
Right. Great to see that. Guys, if anybody here at any point wants to pitch in, interrupt, say something, feel free, let's have a discussion. So is there anybody else who's working as a writer in any form, any manner? Anybody
Hello.
else?
Hello.
Hi.
This is Faisal from Dhaka. I am serving an NGO. I am working as a communication specialist. So in my job role, I need to develop success stories. So I'm involved some sort of writing. I mean, some sort of creative writing. So I'm looking for to know some tricks and techniques that that can make a writing more creative.
Great. I really hope I can help. Throughout my career, so I've been actually writing for a really long time, since I think 2000. আমার স্কুলের শেষ পর্যন্ত মানে শেষের দিকে ইউনিভার্সিটি ঢোকার সাথে সাথে I've always been writing in one form or another for somebody or something. And in that time, a lot of people have helped me out. So I really hope I can give back a little today.
I also previously I worked for Daily Prothom Alo. There I have worked with Gray at for designing our brand communication campaigns. So maybe indirectly I have worked with you, but that I didn't notice.
Acha. Okay. Gray there, right? You were at Gray.
Right. Yes, Gray was the creative agency for Prothom Alo for a long time.
আচ্ছা, আপনি কখন ছিলেন ওখানে?
আমি ছিলাম হচ্ছে 2010 থেকে 2018 এর শেষ পর্যন্ত।
আচ্ছা, right after I left.
Okay.
আচ্ছা. I see some known faces here, some friends of mine. Anybody else who's also, wants to let me know their work experience near? Anyone else? All right. In that case, I'll just get right into it. So let me turn this off. Right. So here's the thing. Writing এর ব্যাপারে যেটা হচ্ছে there's a lot of tricks if you think about it. Number one হচ্ছে grammar. So grammar has to be good no matter what language we work on. আমরা বাংলায় করি, ফার্সি করি, ইংলিশ করি, grammar is important. Without grammar অনেক কিছু contextual জিনিস আছে, অনেক subtle ideas থাকে, thoughts থাকে, ওগুলো আমরা properly interpret করতে পারবো না, properly express করতে পারবো না, অনেক সময় ভুল করে ফেলতে পারি। So grammar is very important. এখন জিনিসটা হচ্ছে I'm not going to discuss grammar because grammar নিয়ে কথা বলতে গেলে that will be days and days of workshops. Those are completely different. What I'm going to talk about is tips that will help you write better. Give your মানে যেই লেভেলেই থাকুক, anybody here, whatever level, skill level you're at, whether you're a beginner, you're an expert, intermediate, whether you're doing academic research, whether you're doing journalistic work or creative pursuits, যে আমরা বই লিখবো, স্টোরি লিখবো, কবিতা লিখবো, whatever it is, these will hopefully help you do better, far better. Reason হচ্ছে these are all mistakes I've made. And একটা কথা আছে, very very wise man, some wise man, I think it's a wise woman, nobody actually defines যে এটা genderটা কি, but somebody has said smart people learn from their mistakes, smarter people learn from other people's mistakes. So guys, I'm the one who's made tons and tons of mistakes, and I'm hoping you guys are the smarter ones যারা আমার mistake থেকে শিখে you can do far far better than I've done. So I'll start with পাঁচটা কি পয়েন্ট আছে যেগুলা অ্যাকচুয়ালি আমাকে আমার এতদিনের কাজে, whether as a writer or an editor, অন্যদের কাজ দেখা হোক আর নিজের কাজ হোক, it has helped me tremendously to improve দুই সাইডেরই কাজ. So I'll just get straight to the point. এটা যেটা হচ্ছে এগুলা রাইটিং স্টাইলটা ইমপ্রুভ করার জন্য. So number one, by the way, all this material will be available. Jara email address ache, we will forward it. They'll help me forward everything. Lubaba, I think Namira, they can send it to you. So
Yeah, sure.
I'll start with it. So number one, আমার যেটা মনে হচ্ছে সবচেয়ে ইম্পর্টেন্ট হচ্ছে you have to be specific when you write. You have to have details. For example, আমি যদি একটা লাইন বলি যে আজকের কেসে আমি ডিসক্রাইব করলাম লাইনটা, আজকের ইভেন্টটা, দ্য পিপল অ্যাটেন্ডেড আ জুম ওয়ার্কশপ, রাইট? এখন এইটাতে ডাজ এনিবডি ওয়ান্ট টু টেল মি যে ডাজ দিস রিয়েলি টেল ইউ সামথিং? Does it? Anybody?
It does not.
It does not, right? The people attended a Zoom workshop. এখন specific বলতে যেটা হচ্ছে যে we need more details. So how about this variation on the line? The aspiring writers attended a Zoom meeting where a man talked about let me do this again. The aspiring writers attended a Zoom meeting where a man talked about writing and making a fool of himself. Does that give you a better idea about what's going on here? Anybody?
It does, yes.
Okay. Well, obviously, I'm expecting you to say it does. So anyway, জিনিসটা হচ্ছে আমি ইউনিভার্সিটি যখন ছিলাম, my first year, there was a faculty called Dina Forkan. I think if I remember correctly, right now she's probably head chairperson of the English department at NSU. So she used to want 2 journals from us every week. And the first one I gave, she looked at it. She knew who everybody was, and she knew, I was working as a freelance writer and all that. So she told me my write-up was average. And I was crushed. I felt like, ওই যে পেপসি টিন ক্যানের মতো একদম চ্যাপ্টার করে দিছে, জাস্ট ক্লাসের মধ্যে উনি বললো যে there you go, you're average. And I asked, so what was the point? Why, And then she pointed out, so our first assignment chilo, she gave us free range. We can write about any topic. So I wrote about Dhaka traffic. And then she explained to me, so what did you write? And I remember, আমার লেখাটা ছিল এই টাইপের যে people drive indiscriminately, there are too many rickshaws, rickshaws break the rules, people are breaking the rules, police do not notice, a type. And she told me these are blanket statements. These are vague. There's no details. মানে এটা তো একটা casual observation. যে কেউ তো বলতে পারে যে traffic খারাপ. And then she told me stop being lazy, look for details and give details. So my point is প্রথম যে এক্সাম্পলটা দিলাম যে these people are attending a Zoom meeting. That doesn't say anything. So you should always look for more details, which means that you need to do research, you need to have information for your article. And this is regardless of whatever you're writing. Even if you're writing a Facebook status, right? So Facebook statuses, you should have specifics, you should have a detail. Otherwise, you're just going to give a selfie and say, আজকের দিনের ছবি. And that doesn't say anything. Nobody really cares. Nobody cares. You want to give people something to hold on to. And for that, you need details. Without details, you don't have a story. And without a story, you don't have somebody's attention. So that's one. So I'd like to end with one more example with the specifics portion. So আমি যদি একটা লাইন বলি, police stopped the car. এখন এটাও হচ্ছে খুবই একটা বেসিক একটা স্টেটমেন্ট যে আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে পুলিশ গাড়ি থামাইছে, বাট ইফ ইউ টেলিং আ স্টোরি you can make it better by saying here you can add details. So police stopped the rusty blue Toyota. See, that gives you a detail. Then you can add details about the police, you can add details about the weather, the situation, context, অনেক কিছু আসবে, and that as you add more details, relevant details, your story becomes better. So এখানে একটা জিনিস অ্যাভয়েড করা উচিত ডিটেলসের কেসে, দ্য ডিটেল শুড বি রেলেভেন্ট। আমি যদি এখানে এই যে পুলিশের কথা বলি, সো আই এম প্রবলি টকিং অ্যাবাউট ট্রাফিক ওয়ান্স অ্যাগেন, বাট হিয়ার আই উইল বি টকিং, আমি পুলিশের ডিটেল বলতে গিয়ে আই স্টার্ট টকিং অ্যাবাউট কালকে ওয়েদার, গতকালকে ওয়েদার এরকম ছিল, হালকা বৃষ্টি হয়েছিল, বৃষ্টির পরে খিচুড়ি খেতে ভালো লেগেছিল, এই সেই। দ্যাট ইজ নট রেলেভেন্ট। সো ইউ হ্যাভ টু স্টিক টু রেলেভেন্ট ডিটেলস ইন ইউর ওয়ার্ক। So anybody want to say anything else, anything about this before I move on to the next one? All right. Number 2, very important. You have to choose simple, easy words. There's a word called verbiage. আমি আমার friend একটা আছে Moyuk, we used to laugh about it a lot because verbiage, anybody knows what it means? Anybody want to take a guess what verbiage means? It's a terrible word. It's a very fancy sounding word, but ashale etar mane hocche complicated, lengthy usage of words. That's it. A lot of people sometimes, mistakenly think that acha amra jodi ekta technical article likhi ba ekta academic article likhi, we need to have difficult sounding words, complicated words, things that make us sound important, right? Well, here's one of my mistakes. So back in, ages ago, Fahim Munem, আমাদের ডেইলি স্টার ম্যানেজিং এডিটর ছিলেন, God rest his soul, when he passed away, but he was a very critical person, very smart and critical person. He knew exactly কোথায় কি বলতে হয়, কি ধরতে হয়, and he could guide you very accurately. So one day he called me in to discuss headlines. আমাকে তখন মাত্র নতুন একটা ডেজিগনেশন দেওয়া হলো, আই এম গোনা বি সাব এডিটর অফ ইউথ ম্যাগাজিন, তখন রাইজিং স্টার্স নামে একটা ম্যাগাজিন ছিল, and I was in university, মাত্র জয়েন করেছি। সো সব দিক থেকে আমার মনে হচ্ছে না, I'm a very important person right now. I feel like I was a kid and I felt like a kid, but in big shoes. So I felt like, okay, so উনাকে একটা আমার রিপোর্ট লিখে দিতে হবে, একটা আর্টিকেল লিখতে হবে, so I need to be the big boy here. I can't be the little kid who just got a job. So আমি fancy word দিয়ে complicated করে একটা article লিখেছি। So he calls me in and I'm thinking, you know what? Here I go. He's going to talk to me about how amazing I am and give me a raise. Nope, that's not what happened. Raise তো দূরের কথা, উনি আমার সাথে একটু বসলেন, বসে বললেন যে তোমার স্টোরিটা খুব ভালো হয়েছে, but I want you to trash the whole thing and rewrite it. It was, I think, a 2,000 word actor report, 2,500 word. He told me, so I had to take multiple interviews, and he told me, trash it completely. That was his thing, trash it and redo it. And I was thinking, acha ki holo? And he's explaining, what I want is short and crisp story. উনি বললো তুমি 500 ওয়ার্ডের ভিতরে লিখো. You don't have to impress me. You don't have to impress anybody. You write your story the way it should be written, and so others can understand. So আমি যদি বড় বড় ওয়ার্ড ইউজ করি, আমাদের তো ফার্স্ট ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ ইংলিশ না. So all of us here, if we're going to write in English, we want the other person to understand and connect. Otherwise, we run that risk of disconnecting with our readers. So that's another mistake I made early on, luckily, and I learned. আমি সব সময় ইজি লিখতাম, বাট ওই যে একজন দুইজনকে একটু ইমপ্রেস করার জন্য মনে হলো যে এই ওয়াই নট, রাইট? তো আমাদের অনেক সময় হতে পারে উইল হ্যাভ ফ্যাকাল্টি, উই মাইট হ্যাভ সিনিয়র্স, or we might feel যে আচ্ছা এই পাবলিকেশনের জন্য we need to jazz it up, complicate it. No, never complicate it. Keep it simple, keep it easy, short words, short sentences, short paragraphs. Just make sure people get a story quickly, easily. So number three হচ্ছে what I like to call as fluff. Leave out the fluff. Fluff material আমরা প্রচুর অনেক সময় accidentally use করি, অনেকে আবার আমাদের habit হয়ে যায়. Fluff is basically words that reduce the impact of what we write or what we say. Like, আমি জানি না এখানে কারো কিছু এরকম বদ অভ্যাস আছে নাকি. আমার শর্ট টার্মের জন্য একটু বদ অভ্যাস ছিল, আমি কথায় কথায় লাইক বলতাম. আমার এক কাজিন ছিল, ও লাইক বলতো, আমিও বলতাম. সো আমরা কথা কথা লাইক, এই শোন লাইক, এইরকম. তো ওইটা I realized we sounded very stupid, but that is fluff. What we did was আমরা কথা লাইনে একটা বলতে গিয়ে যদি তিনবার কথার মধ্যে লাইক ঢুকাই, we used to reduce the weight of our words, making us sound unimportant and silly. সেম জিনিস আমরা লেখার সময় করি. লেখার সময় কিছু ওয়ার্ডস ইউজ করি, দিজ আর কল্ড কোয়ালিফাইং ওয়ার্ডস. বেসিক্যালি এগুলা আমরা অন্য সেন্টেন্সে অন্যান্য ওয়ার্ডগুলোকে চেঞ্জ করি. ফর এক্সাম্পল, বেসিক্যালি একটু আগে যেটা বললাম, বেসিক্যালি ইজ আ টেরিবল কোয়ালিফাইং ওয়ার্ড. আমরা একটা কথা বলার আগে যদি বলি যে বেসিক্যালি দিস ইজ হাউ উই ডু ইট, অর বেসিক্যালি ইটস আ স্মার্ট মুভ, এই বেসিক্যালি বলার সাথে সাথে আমরা কথাটার ওয়েট কমায় দেই, কথাটার ইম্প্যাক্টটা কমায় দেই. এরকম সিমিলার, ক্যান এনিবডি গিভ মি এনি আদার ওয়ার্ডস সিমিলার টু এই যে বেসিক্যালি, যেই টাইপের ওয়ার্ড ইউজ করলে আমরা একটা লাইনের ইম্প্যাক্ট কমায় দিতে পারি? Commonly used.
For example, so
For example.
normally, usually, like things that are irrelevant in the topic.
Great. Yes, exactly. আরো আছে little, quite, pretty. মানে আমরা little দিয়ে কি বলবো যে it's a little like this. এটা না, we should just say যে this is exactly like this or not like this. Example একটা দিতে পারি, she was basically quite ready to take on the job. এখন অল্টারনেটিভলি আমরা যেটা বলার উচিত বলতে পারি, she was enthusiastic about tackling the job. Can you see the difference here? আমি যখন বলছি she was basically quite ready to take the job, sort of like ইফি একটা ভাব চলে আসছে যে আচ্ছা হলো হলে হলো, না হলে নাই, যদি হয় খুব ভালো, এই টাইপের একটা জিনিস. But that will give the same impression to your reader that you are weak in your conviction. So নিজের conviction strong রাখার জন্য, নিজের direct authority place করার জন্য, you have to be authoritative about what you're saying. So when you say she was enthusiastic about tackling the job, it's a much more stronger way to express the same context. So আমার কথা হচ্ছে leave out the fluff. When you do that, এর আগের একটা পয়েন্ট ছিল যে keep things short. So when you leave out the fluff, you actually keep things short আরেক ভাবে, and you put more directness in your writing, and with more directness your write-up comes stronger. তারপরে number 4. So number 4 হচ্ছে, it's one of my favorites. So নাম্বার 4 একটা হচ্ছে সো একভাবে বললে যেটা হচ্ছে don't repeat, don't say the same thing over and over again, don't retell or echo the same thought, and don't repeat. So I know I'm just মানে নিজের কথাই কন্ট্রাডিক্ট করছি। So আমার একটা ফেভারিট কার্টুন ক্যারেক্টার আছে, I don't know if you guys have watched Powerpuff Girls.
Yes,
I
bhaiya, it's very famous.
Yeah, you have. So, some people might say I'm too old to enjoy Powerpuff Girls, but there's an evil character called Mojo Jojo. He's a monkey. And or একটা famous line আছে, I do not repeat, reiterate, or say the same thing over and over again. But that's exactly what he's doing. He's saying the same thing over and over again. এখন এই জিনিসটা আমরা কোথায় দেখি? Newspaper reports. If you look at stories of incident reports যেগুলো হয়, যে ধরো কোথাও এক জায়গায় ক্রাইম হয়েছে, or something happened, an accident happened, or something happened, what happens? So they might have space for a 345 words এর একটা space, right? Newspaper এরকম সবকিছু ফিক্স করা থাকে, but unfortunately the information they have is just 50 words. Maybe they've gotten a report যে আজকে মাওয়ার রাস্তায় কেউ একজন সাইকেল চালাতে গিয়ে এক ভেড়ার রাস্তা ক্রস করছিল, উল্টায় পড়লো, দ্যাটস ইট, বাট ইউ হ্যাভ 300 ওয়ার্ডস টু ফিল। সো দে উইল টক অ্যাবাউট ঘুরায় পেঁচায়, আবার ভেড়ার রাস্তায় ক্রস করছিল, ভেড়ার রাস্তায় ক্রস করার জায়গা না, ভেড়া আর মানুষের এই সেই, এন্ড দে উইল ব্রিং ইন দ্য সেম থিং ওভার এন্ড ওভার এন্ড ওভার, এন্ড দ্যাট ruins everything. So if you ever feel you don't have the words, you don't have the information, back to number 1, look for specifics, look for information. If you don't have information, you keep on looking for information. You do not repeat. When you repeat, it shows that you don't have you don't have the info to keep somebody's attention, and the reader will understand that, consciously or subconsciously hope, they will catch on to it, and they will lose interest in your content. স্মার্ট নিউজ এডিটররা যেটা করে, যে যখন মেটেরিয়াল থাকে না, they go for pictures. Many times নিউজপেপার খুললে বা ওয়েবসাইটে গেলে দেখা যায় যে বড় করে একটা ছবি দেওয়া, 2 লাইনের একটা ক্যাপশন, because as the old saying goes, a picture speaks 1,000 words. So if you don't have 1,000 words to add, you put in a picture. এখন এইটা যেটা করা যায় এখন রাইট আপের ক্ষেত্রে, if you don't have information but you have to write about something, your application will decide whether you can use a picture or not. If you're writing a report, can you put in a picture? Can you put in a graph? Can you put in an infograph? But please do not repeat একটা জিনিসকে ঘুরায় পেঁচায় বারবার যেন না বলা হয়, which is what I'm doing again. So I'll be moving on to the last one, which is number 5. Number 5 is, okay, this is my favorite. A lot of people hate me for it. Number 5 is edit mercilessly. So when I was a writer, আমি যখন প্রথম শুরু করি অ্যাজ এ স্টুডেন্ট, আমি রাইজিং স্টারসে জয়েন করি, এন্ড প্রথম নতুন কিছু লিখি, এন্ড আমার লেখাকে কেটে টেটে ছোট করা হয়, আমার অনেক দুঃখ পায়। মানে দুঃখটা সেরকম ছিল যে কান্না কান্না অবস্থা, যে আমি এত কষ্ট করে এত জিনিস লিখলাম, আতেলের মতো এত মাতবরি করলাম, এন্ড লুক এট হোয়াট হ্যাপেন্ড, দে চপড অফ half my stuff. And over time I realized that's how it should be. আমি এডিটর হওয়ার অনেক আগেই I realized after a while যে a good write up requires editing. It requires chopping, drastic, massive chopping. আমি আমার আগের কিছু আর্টিকেল যখন দেখি, I have old articles, sometimes they pop up online, or আমার কিছু আগের ফাইল থাকে জাস্ট দেখার জন্য যে how bad I was. And it's embarrassing. আমি যদি 10-12 বছর আগের বা 15 years ago আমি ইউনিভার্সিটি যখন ছিলাম ওই টাইমে যখন দেখি, it is embarrassing. কিছু আর্টিকেল আছে, কিছু আর্টিকেল দেখে আমার মনে হয় যে I used to write so well. এত বুদ্ধি আমার মাথায় কেমনে ছিল? No, sense of humor must have been really good. And then there's other writers I look at and I think, এই 10টা লাইন তো দরকার ছিল না. Why did I write that? So এখানে the trick is, whenever you write something, whatever you're writing, including Facebook statuses, especially the lengthy Facebook statuses where you're giving an opinion or a thought, take some time out, take a break. I've always found 2 to 3 hours is a good time বেসিক একটা কিছুর এডিটিং এর জন্য। ফর এক্সাম্পল আমি একটা আর্টিকেল এখন লিখলাম, আই টেক এ 2 hour ব্রেক, আই লুক এট ইট, আই উইল স্পট মিস্টেকস। বাট হাতে যদি সময় থাকে, ইফ ইউর নট প্রোক্রাস্টিনেটর লাইক মি, আমি অনেক কিছু অনেক লেট পর্যন্ত রাখি, অনেক কিছু আটকায় যায়, সো লাস্ট মিনিটে করতে হয়। ইফ ইউর স্মার্ট, and I'm pretty sure most of you are, some of you are probably as bad as I am, but what's going to happen is you write your piece and you take a day, if you can have a day, যে আজকে লিখলাম, আজকে বসে থাকলাম, কালকে আমি দেখবো। And what's going to happen is that 8 to 10 hours time or even 24 hours time will give you new ideas, new thoughts. And when you look at your write-up, what's going to happen is you're slowly going to disconnect with what you've written. আমরা যে কেউ যখন লিখতে থাকি, আমরা ওইটার মধ্যে ডুবে যাই, ওইটার মধ্যে ঢুকে যাই, আর ওইটাতে ঢুকার পরে যেটা হয় যে ওই আইডিয়াগুলাই মাথায় ঘুরতে থাকে। তো আমরা 1 ঘন্টা 15 মিনিট 2 ঘন্টা নিয়ে একটা কিছু লিখার পরে আমরা যখন ওইটাতে আবার এডিট করতে বসি, তখনই আমাদের মাথায় ওই একই জিনিস ঘুরে। We don't have many new thoughts. But the moment you give it like 8 hours or 10 hours break, what happens is you've slowly started to disconnect yourself from your write-up. You're maybe watching TV, or you're what we all do, যেটা হচ্ছে আমরা ফেসবুক প্রবলি ঘাটবো, নিউজ ফিডে স্ক্রোল করবো, তারপরে কারো একটা ভিডিও দেখবো, একটা বিড়ালের ভিডিও দেখবো, and so on and on. So we slowly disconnect from our write-up. And ওই 8 hours, 10 hours, 24 hours পরে যখন আমরা write-upটা আবার দেখি, what we notice is with fresh eyes, as if, you know, almost আমরা different person than somebody who wrote it. And then you start spotting mistakes, you spot improvements, you look at it and you have to actively think, okay, এই জিনিসটাকে আমি কিভাবে improve করতে পারি। And to improve my previous points, you shorten it, you get rid of the fluff, and you put in more details. And these 5 tips have always helped me improve my write-ups, improve my team's write-ups. Like I said, I edit mercilessly. আমার record আছে একটা, I took a 4,000 word article and turned it to almost 500 words, 400 something, something. Because, okay, that article was bad, but ওইটার মধ্যে কিছু benefits ছিল, কিছু ভালো জিনিস ছিল, so ultimately দেখা গেল যে 300-400 ওয়ার্ডের বেশি এটার বলার দরকার নাই। But you can do the same thing and your readers will thank you for it. এখন এইখানে একটা প্রবলেম হচ্ছে, একাডেমিক কিছু কেসে we are required to give in a set number of words. আমার একটা ফ্যাকাল্টি ছিল, ওনার রিপোর্ট সবসময় হতো not less than 5,000 words. মানে 5,000 words হচ্ছে বাচ্চাদের ইয়ে, and if you want a good grade you need to give 10,000 words. এখন 10,000 words আমরা কিভাবে করতাম? আমরা অনেক চুরি করতাম। But these are rare instances. When you give something substantial, when it matters to you, when the writing really matters to you, you should make it count. That's it. So এই 5টা পয়েন্টের পরে I have a tip on how to improve your style. For that, যেটা করতে হবে আমি বলবো, but in between, if anybody has any questions, I'd love to hear them, and hopefully.
Yeah, we have a lot of questions from the Facebook comment section. Wow. So would you like to go through them first?
Yes, tell me. I can see there's, they're popping all over, but.
Yeah.
Acha.
I'd like to read out them for you.
Sure.
Okay, so there's this first question that what are some good techniques of brainstorming ideas for approaching topics from different angles?
Okay.
So how do you brainstorm about different angles?
I try to, যেটা হচ্ছে, if I'm connected to the topic itself, for example, আমি কিন্তু কার্টুন করি, so কার্টুনের জন্য brainstorming লাগে, obviously, you have to work out what's the best idea, what's the best text to write and how to draw it and all that. Sometimes I do very good, sometimes I do very bad. ওইটা পরে দেখলে বোঝা যায় যে আচ্ছা বেশ বাজে ছিল। And ওগুলার কেসে যেটা, because I'm so connected with that, it's easier for me, যে মাথায় সারাক্ষণ ঘুরতে থাকে। So আমি যেটা করি, obviously I topic wise I start searching online. Okay, let's say আমার নিজের কিছু আইডিয়া বের হলে I start searching যে alternative ideas আর কারা কি করেছে। Now if you're looking to brainstorm, আমাদের এখন যেটা ইজি হয়েছে, Google does help. we have to be careful how we take that help. Do we directly copy or do we take inspiration? এখন inspiration নেওয়াটা হচ্ছে main idea. Brainstorming এর জন্য, if it's something that you're not comfortable with or you don't have expertise in, for example, কাউকে, I'm pretty sure এখানে আমাদের এই গ্রুপের মধ্যে কেউ বাসা প্লাস্টার, ওয়াল প্লাস্টার করা নিয়ে কেউ কাজ করে নাই, রাইট? I'm pretty sure that's not somebody's skill set এর মধ্যে আছে. Now, if you want to do that, if you want to talk about that, you talk to somebody who knows how to do that. And that's one way to go about it. Or if you know the topic, actually you look into source material. You have to know your audience. That's number one thing. Try to connect with কার জন্য আমরা লিখবো বা কার জন্য কাজটা করব. So that will give you a direction into key ideas আমরা pick করব. That's very important. আমি কিন্তু আমি যখন আর্টিকেল কিছু একটা লিখি, it's not for myself because it's not my personal blog. আমি গাড়ি রিভিউ করি. So গাড়ি রিভিউ যখন করি, I cannot write about, oh my god, how amazing it is to drive all the time. Because প্রত্যেকটা গাড়ি কিন্তু প্রত্যেকটা ইউজারের জন্য না. Everybody isn't interested in একটা গাড়ি কেমনে চালায়. A lot of people are interested যে ওই গাড়ির দরজা খুলে আমি যখন নামবো, আমাকে কত মানুষ ভাববে যে আমি ঢাকার নাম্বার 1 কোটিপতি, right? So I have to write for that person ওই গাড়ির কেসে. I cannot write যে আমি এটা চালালে আমি একটু পরে উড়াল দিয়ে চলে যাব, তারপর 300 ফিট পার হয়ে I'll crash and die somewhere. No, that cannot be my story all the time. So you have to know your audience, and that's how you can come up with brainstorming. Think about your audience. When you write, you're writing for somebody else, not for yourself, unless it's a blog. Then it's a different thing. Next.
Yeah, Bhaiya. So the next question is quite relevant to this. It says that how do we ensure we can write something original without becoming heavily influenced by others' writing styles and ideas?
So I always felt, okay, so there's a common saying that nothing original is left in the world. Everything that has to be done or can be done has already been done. So একদিকে ওটা চিন্তা করলে অনেক ডিপ্রেসিং লাগতে পারে যে তাহলে কি আমরা সারা জীবনে সবাই মিডিওকার থাকবো? No, that's the wrong approach. We're not going to be mediocre. It's just we're going to have our own take on something. এখন আরেকজনের ইনফ্লুয়েন্স নেওয়া is never a bad thing. That's how we actually develop our own styles. এমন না আমরা যদি শেমলেসলি একটা জিনিস কপি করি যে আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে এর আঁকা ভাল লাগলো, এর লেখা ভাল লাগলো বা কিছু একটা, that's when we end up just remaining a copy. Influence, আমাদের কোয়েশ্চেনে যেটা ছিল যে influence is the key word here. If we take the influence, then we can actually make our own things. If we copy, which is ভাল লাগলো exactly ওইটাই করলাম, we are never going to develop. The key thing to do here is to take the influence and then look at other examples. যেমন write-up-এর কেসে, don't get stuck to one form of writing that you enjoy. For example, কারো রবীন্দ্রনাথের কাজ খুবই ভালো লাগে, এখন সারা জীবন যদি শুধু রবীন্দ্রনাথই পড়তে থাকে, that person will not know নজরুলের লেখা কিরকম, or হেমিংওয়ের লেখা কিরকম, or who's the person who wrote এই যে that ওই যে the vampire thing, ওই যে the glittery vampire, Twilight. I don't know if there are Twilight fans, but you know, even that is a style in itself, and you won't know if you don't try it. So the thing is, you try everything and you take the influences. তারপরে যেটা হবে নিজের স্টাইল একটা নিজেই ডেভেলপ করবে. Influence is never a bad thing.
All right, Bhaiya. The next question is, as an amateur writer working on a non-fiction piece, should I set up a structure before starting and maintain it instead of going with the flow, which might be a bit messy but is more organic?
What do you mean by non-fiction? এখন non-fiction যদি হয় যে একাডেমিক কিছু বা জার্নালিস্টিক কিছু, structure maintain করাটা খুবই important, because that will make sure যে you deliver things on time, you can finish things on time. With the structure, you will have set rules. With set rules, you will know exactly কোথায় information দিতে হবে. For example, আমরা যদি এখানে চিন্তা করি যে আচ্ছা কোর্স ওয়ার্কের কোনো একটা রিপোর্ট লিখতে হবে, সো দে হ্যাভ আ সেট সিরিজ অফ কন্টেন্ট। সো আমরা ইন্ট্রো একরকম দিব, তারপরে কি দিব, এরপরে কি দিব, ডু উই হ্যাভ ইন্টারভিউজ, ডু উই হ্যাভ রিসার্চ স্টাডি, ডু উই হ্যাভ নিউমেরিক্যাল ডেটা উই ওয়ান্ট টু ফোকাস অন। সো ওইভাবে যখন স্ট্রাকচারে ফেলে দেওয়া হবে, দ্যাটস গ্রেট, বাট ইফ ইউ ডোন্ট, you run the risk of messing up. And this is the same for creative work as well. If you're writing a story or if you're writing a humor piece, there's two types of people who write these things. Actor হচ্ছে they fly by their pants. Basically, they sit down, they start typing and they write. But I would suggest যে ওগুলাতেও একটা idea. For example, brainstorming করার পর you have the points. Then you set those points in a sequence and then you start working on them. Important জিনিস যেটা মনে রাখার হচ্ছে যে if you're setting a structure and then you don't like it or এটা আগাচ্ছে না, you feel like আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে এই আইডিয়াটা তেমন ভালো না, but I'm still going to work on it, dump it, think about it again. That's it.
Okay, Bhaiya, the next question is that what are some good tools and apps to help enhance our writing skills and quality?
Tools and apps. Right. Frankly, there's only one good way to improve your writing. Well, two actually. Neither of these are apps, by the way. একটা হচ্ছে you have to write. You have to constantly write. If you feel like আচ্ছা আমি ভালো রাইটার হতে চাই, আমি নেক্সট ফ্রাইডেতে বসে একটা জিনিস ট্রাই করব, না হলে এর পরের ফ্রাইডেতে করব, that's never gonna work. What you have to do is right now you feel like writing something. For example, those of you who are attending today's workshop, you feel like আজকে ভাল লাগলো না. Why not just sit down, write it, and send me a mail telling me what you didn't like, give me the points, and so on. Or vice versa, you just have to buckle down and start writing. You cannot wait for the perfect moment. You cannot wait for the perfect day. আজকে ওয়েদারটা ভালো, সুন্দর বৃষ্টি হচ্ছে, চা নিয়ে বসছি, আচ্ছা লিখলে আজকে ভালো লাগবে. That is a that is a direct way for failure. এটা একটা, আর সেকেন্ড জিনিস হচ্ছে you have to read. So you have to read, you have to write. এখন read করার জন্য অনেক অ্যাপ আছে that will help you out distill the essence of stories, but দিনের শেষে you actually have to just go out and read. Without reading, you will not be experiencing different styles, and without experiencing different styles, you will not be able to experiment and expand your writing skills.
Okay, Bhaiya, the next question is quite relevant to this. It says that despite wanting to write, sometimes I'm clueless about what to write on. How do I keep generating new ideas for writing articles and blogs?
Okay, so I wish somebody here would give me an answer on this. That's me every day. So anybody wants to take a shot at answering this? যে idea নাই, এখন কি করব? How to generate ideas? Acha. So thing is, what are you interested in? Come on, somebody. I need somebody from our participants here. Somebody give me what you really like. Tell me about what you're interested in. Anyone? আমি কি নাম ধরে ডাকবো না anybody wants to have a go? Technology. Okay, so if you're interested in technology, that's easy to start on, right? So if you're interested in that, why not just write about that? ওইখানে technology হচ্ছে সবচেয়ে বড় বিশাল একটা vague topic. Narrow it down. Technology কোন part? Mohammad?
Mutiul.
Tell me, technology পরে, so এরপরে if you narrow it down, what is it about technology that really interests you?
I guess I like to think about how certain little tweakings by some by some person in a lab completely changed our life as we have lived it in the past.
আচ্ছা, so আচ্ছা আমি যদি এটারে অন্যভাবে বলি, so you're interested in how discoveries change people's lives, am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
Basically.
great. It's good to be correct every now and then. um, so you're interested in discoveries that change people's lives, right? So now we're somewhere. Think about it. You're interested in technology, and now ওইটা আমরা আরো distill করলে we find out you're interested in discoveries that change people's lives. So name me three that you think are important. This is not a test, so feel free to say whatever you want. Let's have fun with it, okay?
Well, I guess Intel 8086 chips.
Okay, very technical.
The iPhone.
Okay, one, iPhone. Two, how about Tesla?
Yeah, Tesla.
Right? Okay, so I'm sure আর কিছু না হোক এখানে ইন্টেলের ওই চিপসেটটা সবাই directly familiar না হলে everybody knows about the iPhone, everybody knows about the Tesla. These things came out and changed people's lives. But then if you look into it, there's other things. Penicillin. It came out ages ago. It came out, I think, 50s or something. My boss, Mahfuzanam, he was telling me recently how he had to take penicillin shots when he was a little kid because he had to take these shots because he had I think typhoid probably. So what happened was amra to penicillin nei like a tablet. He had to take it injected, and the thing had to be mixed and injected in a few seconds. Now oita সাথে সাথে solidify hoto. See, these are things we don't know, and now you can write about that to let people know how things have changed. So আমরা what you said was, so আমাদের যে কমেন্টটা পোস্ট করেছিল, they wanted to know যে নতুন ideas কিভাবে বের করব যে ব্লগ যদি করতে চাই। Simple, you find out what you like and then ওইটা থেকে distill out ideas and topics that you think you can focus on. নিজের পছন্দের একটা টপিকে ধরতে পারলে you can find hundreds of things to write about. It's just you have to start না করলে হবে না. If you wait for the perfect topic, not gonna happen.
Okay, Bhaiya. So the next question is quite relevant to this as well. So what are some of the ways I can make my writing more vibrant and convincing? So after I've chosen a topic, how do I make it more convincing?
Okay. Anybody wants to give me a topic that we can, make more vibrant and convincing? Come on, guys. There's so many of you here.
Yeah, it can be the vaccination thing about coronavirus, which is quite talked about these days.
Absolutely. So ওইটা তো হচ্ছে it's a trending topic. If you pick a trending topic, so ওইটাকে যদি আরো interesting করতে হয়, it is interesting as it is because think about it. This workshop would have been 10 times more fun if we had actually been there live in person, right?
Yeah.
Right. So ওইটাকে আরো vibrant করতে হলে things to talk about corona. So what can we talk about? Anybody wants to give an idea যে কোন জিনিসটা interesting বেশি হবে, কি জিনিসে focus করলে? We have corona, we have vaccinations. What could be an interesting angle? Anybody? There's no wrong answers.
আচ্ছা ভাইয়া, ভ্যাকসিন কতটুকু এফেক্টিভ হবে, মানে এটা কি আসলে কার্যকরী কিনা দেওয়ার
Okay,
পরে?
that's a very very মানে good concern. আমারও সারাক্ষণ চিন্তা হয় যে আচ্ছা এই ভ্যাকসিন নেওয়ার পরে কি আমাদের সাইড এফেক্টস কি হতে পারে, উইল উই গ্রো আরেকটা চোখ এখানে ওর তিনটা কান ওর আই ডোন্ট নো এখান থেকে একটা হাত বাইর হবে, আমি মাথা থেকে যদি একটা হাত বাইর হয় ইটস নট দ্যাট ব্যাড, মানে তিনটা হাত হলে কাজেই আসবে. I mean I can type while having coffee and all that, so that's not a bad thing. But Arpita, right?
জি ভাইয়া।
হ্যাঁ, Arpita. So the thing is that's a good topic to work on যে এইটার কার্যকারিতা কতখানি হবে। এইটা নিয়ে যেটা করা যায় যে একটা ভক্স পপ স্টাইলে মানুষের ওপিনিয়ন নেওয়া যায়। You can do a poll, you could talk to people, you could talk to doctors, find out মানুষের general concerns কি. You can make it more interesting by getting a poll. how many people believe in it, how many don't. As simple as that. People love polls, people love numbers and percentages. ওগুলা দিয়ে আমরা লাইফে কিছু করব কি না ওটা হচ্ছে পরের কথা, বাট we love to see numbers যে 67% feel like they will grow a hand out of their forehead if they take the vaccination. Great. What are we going to do about it? Nothing, but it's fun to read. Acha. So have I been able to answer that or Acha.
Yeah. So the next question is that what are the newspapers in Bangladesh looking for in a writer?
They want a good writer who will not cost a lot of money. Unfortunately, that's true. But আমার কেসে আমি যখন আমার টিমের জন্য writer খুঁজি, I always look for people who are more knowledgeable than me. For example, currently I'm running a tech publication called Toggle. ওইটার টপিকের মধ্যে আছে অটোমোবাইল, which is my favorite. মানে আমাকে গাড়ির ব্যাপারে দিলে I can go on about all day and bore you people so much that you will just walk out after a while. So there's that. We have technology. Mutiul ektu age bollo, so he would love it. Phones, tabs, new developments. So we have that. এখন যেটা হচ্ছে ওইটার জন্য we look for writers who not necessarily have to know the subject very well, but they can research and write about it. So writing skill, obviously, যেহেতু এটা English paper, English language ভালো হতে হবে. We also require people who are comfortable talking to other people because a lot of it requires interviews or just collaboration with people in the field. So that Dinesh Sheshe, like I said, I am always looking for people who are smarter than me because that makes my life much easier. Jara tech niye amar cheয়ে better বুঝে obviously আমার টিমে আছে, so they make my life easier. I can ask them questions instead of them asking me questions. But bottom line, to answer that question, we need people who can write well, who can speak to people, and unfortunately, they won't ask for a lot of money. But good people deserve to ask for a lot of money. So there.
So Bhaiya, earlier you talked about that how we can seek ideas from the internet. So here is a relevant question to that how can I ensure that my writing is plagiarism free, given that good quality plagiarism checking softwares are quite inaccessible for students?
Okay. I'm assuming যে questionটা করেছে, he or she isn't asking about her own write-up, because you should know if your write-up is plagiarized or not. But software যেটা হচ্ছে যে there's a lot of sites and apps that are free যেগুলা দিয়ে plagiarism at least basic check গুলা করা যায়, and those are pretty good. আমরা নিজেরাও রান করি. There are paid apps that will actually search a much bigger database of content, but যেটা হচ্ছে যে generally okay, so who's checking? Are you a faculty member? If you're a faculty member, or if you're a student who wants to check a fellow student's work, think about it. If you know the other person, তুমি ওদের কাজের সাথে মিলালে, sorry, you can just match their existing work with their previous work. এখন যারা plagiarism করে ওদের কিন্তু consistency maintain করতে পারে না। একটা রাইটার খুবই ভালো হবে, নেক্সটটার সাথে আগা মাথা মিলবে না, এরপরেরটা will be different. And I've always found আমাদের যেসব ফ্রি টুলস গুলো আছে, they're actually pretty good. They will give a আর কিছু না টেকনিক্যাল মেটেরিয়াল বা পলিটিক্যাল সোর্স মেটেরিয়ালের জন্য খুব ভালো কাজ করে। So even if we can't use the paid apps, what we have is pretty good enough.
Okay, Bhaiya. The next question is from Faisal Azim. He asks, can you please tell how we can convert dry data to universal emotions, and also the trick of story of one while writing a story?
Okay. See, these are very technical words. It's a very good question. And the thing is, bottom line is, when we try to tell a story, আমরা কিন্তু প্রত্যেকটা জিনিসে we're trying to tell a story. Even when we're writing universityর জন্য একটা report, say it's uh, it's a interpretation of a research about the rural areas and the economic repercussions of some policy or whatnot, right? Now, it sounds very academic, and for many people, it might sound very dull. But Dinesh Sheshe, we are still trying to tell a story. And to tell a story, always think about the other end, what the people মানে যারা পড়বে ওদের জন্য, and see if you're giving them a clear, concise picture. That's it.
All right, the next question is from MH Bijoy. He asks how to write engaging introductions and psychologically satisfying, convincing conclusions. So the introduction and the conclusion, how do we make them better?
Okay. This will obviously vary from application to application. এখন আমি introduction এক এক জিনিসের জন্য কিন্তু এক এক রকম হবে. Say I'm doing an interview of a person. Elita Korim. She's a very popular singer. She works with me in Daily Star. We're friends, and she owns a restaurant. But আমারে কখনো এখন পর্যন্ত খাওয়ায় নাই. So, if I'm going to write an introduction about her, from my viewpoint, from my perspective, I will put that in, that she owes me a treat. I want a treat, celebrity treat. But if somebody else who doesn't know her at all, their introduction will be different, because like I said, it varies from person to person. So they will have to focus on her achievements, or if they have any personal interaction with her, based on that, they focus on that. Conclusions are a distillation of what you've been discussing so far. So ওইটা যদি গুছায় একদম concisely বলা যায়, that's the best way to go about it, to keep it brief, keep it short, যে this is what we talked about, this is what you've gotten done. এখন once again, these will vary topic to topic. If we're doing an interview, introduction, conclusion will be one type. If we're doing একটা reported thesis লেখার, ওইটার introduction and conclusion will be different. So based on that, vary করতে হবে and discuss করতে হবে with relevant people যে কিভাবে আমরা করব এটা.
Yeah. So on that note, there's a question that how do we manipulate our tone of writing to suit different types of write-ups?
Okay, I think I already covered that, more or less. Manipulate our tone of writing to suit different types of write-ups. Okay, so anybody want to give an example, Jamra? Okay, so here's the thing. There's formal write-ups, there's informal write-ups, okay? Formal write-ups are what we would call research, reports, and journalistic viewpoints. Informal write-ups would be, I have a daughter, and she makes my life very difficult because she's 2.5 years old and she is a handful. She will destroy everything around me and she will keep me busy all day. এখন আমি ওইটা নিয়ে যখন কথা বলবো, ওইটা নিয়ে লিখবো, that's a very informal piece. I will talk to other dads who feel overwhelmed, and I can talk to them in a very conversational style. Whereas formal case, it will be much more structured and less conversational. So আমাদের tone adjust করতে হবে এই formal and informal এর মধ্যে, based on what the topic is, and once again, who we are reaching out to. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, I guess it just has to be based on the topic and the audience.
Absolutely, the
So
topic changes everything.
Yeah. So the next question is from Paramita Orani. She asks, to be a fundamental writer, if I want to start with an informative piece, what steps should I take, or how should I brainstorm? Usually I feel lack of confidence to start one because I anticipate people might already know it. How can I overcome this issue? This is something I personally face as well, that I think people already know this.
Okay. I will go back to one point. Everything that could be done has already been done. So everything that has been thought of, that can be thought of, has apparently been thought of. But see, that's not a bad thing. So এখানে যেটা আমার মনে হচ্ছে, our Paramita, so what she's feeling is the whole confidence issue. এখন you have to start. She has to I don't know, she's on Facebook, right? Facebook এর ইয়ে থেকে আসছে.
Yes.
Okay, so she has to just start writing. এখন যেটা হচ্ছে, there will be আমরা যদি ওইখানে expert না হই বা unique কোনো information না পাই, obviously we will be talking about things that people know about. There's always somebody who's, আমি যদি নিজেকে কিছুতে expert মনে করি, আজকে যেরকম I'm pretending to be an expert on writing, right? But there's always somebody much better than me. There's many people. My father, for example, I can't live up to that guy's achievements. He's done way too much. So আমি যদি ওইভাবে চিন্তা করি, he's an expert and I'm nothing ওইভাবে. But এখন আমি যদি আমার ফাদারকে যদি আমি এক্সপ্লেইন করতে যাই যে okay, this is how you should write and this is how it should be done, he already knows. But then there's all these other people who need that guidance and assistance, just like I needed it years ago. And I still, I still feel like there are days I will just sit stuck and I need to know যে আচ্ছা এটা কিভাবে করব এখন. She shouldn't get stuck thinking যে others already know the subject. There are many others who don't know the subject, so why not introduce it to them? এখন যেটা হচ্ছে, it would be easier for me to answer this if I knew what topic she wanted to discuss. But if it's, আমি randomly একটা যদি বলি যে uh, taking care of exotic kittens, cats. So ওইটা নিয়ে যদি কেউ করতে যায়, I'm pretty sure a lot of people know about it, but there's a lot of people who won't and they might be interested. So aim for those people, give them the information. The bottom line is you have to start writing. You can't think যে আরেকজন জানবে আমি তাহলে বাদ দেই, এভাবে করলে কখনোই লেখা হবে না.
Sadman Sakib Fuad asks, what tips will you give to content writers to do better in their job?
Okay.
People who are currently working.
Yes, content writers. Okay. Don't copy directly. Don't look for clicks. Don't be clickbaity. এটা হচ্ছে number one. So instead of do's, I'm talking about don'ts. What happens is when you copy somebody else, you're no longer coming up with anything unique. And copy করতে গেলে যেটা দেখা যায়, কনটেক্সটে অনেক সময় মিলে না. You might be writing about food, but দেখা গেল যে you saw some content about music and you really loved it, so ওইটা ফুডেরটাতে রিফ্লেক্ট করতে গিয়ে দেখা গেল যে খিচুড়ি হয়ে গেল, but the bad kind of খিচুড়ি, the one that gives you indigestion. So my suggestion would be, don't copy. Look for influences, look for people who are doing really good stuff, and then see how we can translate that আমাদের আমাদের context, আমাদের requirements. For example, somebody doing a food review in UK, or their context is into different. How they have their lifestyle, how they treat the whole food experience is different from ours. But other writing style might be something that's good that we can take ideas from. So take influences, do not copy. That's how you can come up with, at least you can maintain good content flow.
Nohali Nafisa Khanapu asks, how can someone be as awesome a boss man as you?
Okay, so we work together on Toggle, and by now she knows that it's very difficult. Even I know it's very difficult, so I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much, Nahali.
Okay, so the next question is, as a freelance writer, what is the right way to building up a consistent clientele?
Networking. I know it's a very cliched word, but the very important thing is to get to know people, talk to people, and be nice to people. অনেক সময় হচ্ছে যে you have to people will ask for favors, obviously, especially when you're new, when you're doing something new, or you're young, or you're, well, not yet fully famous. So what's going to happen is people will ask for favors, people will get to know you, and once they know that you can do something well, they will keep on asking for favors. এখন এইখানে যেটা হচ্ছে, once in a while given to favors, because you might get favors back in return. But the thing is, get to know more people. এর মধ্যে you will find a few gems who will really help me out. For example, I have a small bunch of friends who have helped me out tremendously in many, many instances of my life. One of them's I see, well, they're a couple, husband, wife, Sharia, Shamim, Emil, and Sotta. So they're here. No, you have to find these people and hold on to them and make good use of them. But the bottom line is network, get to know people, and be nice. Being an ass is not going to help.
All right, the next question is from Farzin Mumtahinapu. She asks if you can talk a little about the writing style for op-eds.
Op-eds. I'm probably the wrong person for that. So when I joined Daily Star last, I was taken on for the editorial role and I was doing op-eds. And I think I burnt out after 3 months because op-eds weren't really my thing. They're too serious, too structured, and well, very, very serious. And I can't do serious, but I think that's the trick. You have to be serious. Op-ed style, you have to be, you can, এখন যেটা হচ্ছে, so এক এক সময় depending on who's running এক এক জায়গার op-ed, their style reflects on how you would write. যেমন লাস্ট যারা ছিল people I knew in Daily Star যারা op-ed এর দেখাশোনা করতো, so they had a much more flowing, smooth, conversational, free flowing style as opposed to যখন আমি about 9 years back যখন join করেছিলাম. So back then it was much more rigid, much more structured. এখন it's much more free flowing. So এমন না যে you have to have a fixed জিনিস. Just follow the style that's being promoted particular জায়গাতে যেখানে you want to write.
But the next question is, how do you find your audience if you're writing fiction or poetry, especially if you don't have your own voice yet? So if I don't know who my audience is.
Acha. Fiction and poetry, right? You start writing it. You start writing what you have an idea, you jot it down. It's very rare যে মানুষ প্রথমে লেখা শুরু করবে and they will be awesome or even good or even average. Most cases people will be terrible. But the thing is, if you don't write, you will not know যে আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে এইটা এবার করলাম. It's like it's like repeating any other activity in your life. Say cooking. So if you cook for the first time, if you make omelette, একটা ডিম পোচ করার সময়, লাইফের ফার্স্ট টাইম, I don't know এখানে কতজন করেছে, I'm sure everybody should have by now. So the first time would be a disaster, most likely. But the second time will be better, and the third time will be better, and the fourth time might be another disaster, and so on. But you keep getting better. That's the same with writing. You will not find your own voice. Well, you will have your own voice. It just will not stand up and shout out and develop unless you keep on practicing. So there's no shortcut to writing. You have to practice. You have to keep on repeating and doing your work.
On that note, in your opinion, what are the characteristics of an interesting piece of fiction that can immediately hook readers? How do we come up with such a piece?
Okay, that's not going to be easy. So fiction has to have, it has to have a little bit of mystery. ঠিক বললে, don't think যে it has to be a crime story or a mystery. What I mean by mystery is fiction has to have something for people to imagine. People have to think. If you can't get your reader to think, it will not catch their attention. It can be a story on romance, it could be a story on magic, it could be crime, it could be a story on a dog who's just walking about neighborhood and ওই কুকুরের story যে ও neighborhood হাঁটতে হাঁটতে কি দেখলো না দেখলো. But the whole point is the same thing everywhere. You have to have something for the readers to guess. So there has to be a little bit of mystery, and then you reward that reader with that revelation. So whether it's a 500-word short story or a 2,000-word piece or a 20,000-word novel, I don't know if 20,000 word is a novel, but jai hok, if it's a novel, you have to give people something to imagine. If they can't imagine, they don't care, because then it becomes predictable. Think about all the movies we watch. If we understand what the movie is going to be like at the end, we don't remember, we don't care, we don't connect. But that's my daughter
Oh, that's
wanting to
great.
see. It's not great. Now she would come here and grab everything. Anyways, back to our topic, movies. So if we know the ending, we will not like it much. We will not connect to it much. হয়তো পছন্দ হবে, but connectionটা থাকবে না, and maybe 5 years down the line, we will not rewatch it, and we might not even remember it. But if it's something that gives us an unexpected answer, unexpected revelation, we are hooked. And that's the thing about fiction or poetry. You have to give people something they discover.
Yeah. So the next question is, how do we make a headline attractive and grab readers' attention at a go?
আচ্ছা, আমরা ফ্যান্সি ক্রিয়েটিভ স্টাইল ট্রাই করতে পারি, or এখন যেটা হচ্ছে, you have to think কোন মিডিয়ামে. What I found out is, if it's print, you can take a lot of liberties. You can do a lot of creative style headlines, যেটা বাংলায় বললে যেটা হবে আউরা, যে আউরা টাইপের হেডলাইন দিলাম. আমি এক্সাম্পল, I'm at a loss for examples, but it could be, so it could be about the best places to have kachi and biryani in Dhaka, but the headline could be something about okay, it's not going to be a good headline, I'm just giving an example, but it could be, I'm out to eat the world, you know. Think about it, that sentence makes you think what does the guy mean, but এটা কিন্তু প্রিন্টে ভালো কাজ করে এখন। ডিজিটালে অনলাইনে যেটা হচ্ছে, if you're thinking about blogs and websites, what works better is a direct approach, straightforward approach, because SEO is a big point. Your article has to be in people's radar. So if you're writing about the best places to have kachi in Dhaka, you write the best places to have kachi in Dhaka amid this coronavirus without getting, sentence অনেক লম্বা হয়ে যাচ্ছে, but you can distill that, shorten it, and bring that into focus. But if you talk about I'm out to eat the world, people will not connect. এটা প্রিন্টে ভালো যাবে, because then you'll have a layout, you'll have pictures. But online এর জন্য, if you're writing online, I would suggest be direct, be straightforward.
Okay, we have an interesting question now. It says, is copying your own ideas from previously published articles in a new article considered plagiarism?
Seriously, come on, I don't even have to answer that.
Okay,
As
the
long-
next.
it's a repetition. So আমার আগে একটা point ছিল, don't repeat. So if you don't have something new to add, then don't copy your ideas. If you've got something new, a new take, for example, kachi, right? So you're a food blogger, you've written last year the best places to have kachi, and this year you write again the best places to have kachi, but the thing is, maybe your list has changed. গত বছর 5টা যেটা ছিল, এই বছর 5টার মধ্যে 3টা different. Now you've got something new, and that's not plagiarism.
Okay, the next question is, what are your suggestions on overcoming writer's block?
Wow. Writer's block. So the funny thing is, I'm not bragging, but I haven't really faced writer's block ওইভাবে. I haven't really gotten stuck. I've gotten bored. That's a different thing. I don't know if that's also the same as writer's block. There's times I've just been bored and I felt I don't want to write, but I've always had ideas. I found writer's block, which is why I'm a bad person, because I really haven't faced problems ওইভাবে. That could be the fact যে আমার writing requirements, what's demanded from me is a huge variety. So আমি ওই একটা সাবজেক্টে আটকায় নাই। এটা হতো যে আমার শুধু fiction লিখি, then I would probably get stuck at some point of time. If I was only writing phone reviews every day, at some point I would be like, আর পারতেছি না. But because I write a variety of things, and that could be the answer there. If you're stuck with a particular topic, look for a different topic to write on. If what you're writing is food articles, or if what you're writing is, if you're doing reports on youth startup activities, আর ভালো লাগছে না, look for a different topic to write on.
All right. Imanul Arifin asks, can you suggest some of the best writers from home and abroad so that we can get inspiration from their writing styles?
For that, you have to think about what kind of write-ups you like and just go for it. এখানে আমার last একটা point রয়ে গিয়েছে, ওইটা আমি পরে বলবো, so that will add up and hopefully wrap up everything. So I'll get back to that later.
All right. So the next comment is from Namrata S. Anushka. She says, "Hi boss, thanks for your valuable words. Always looking up to you for inspiration."
All right, just stop asking for more money, okay?
The next question is from Riaz Hassan. He asks, is it a good idea to actively try to adopt a writer's style, structure, etc. when starting out?
It's a good way to practice. It's a good way to experiment. Ami Jericho, personally, I've been a massive fan of a writer called Terry Pratchett. He writes outrageous comedy, and so what he focuses on is pop culture. So when he pop culture reference the comedy to create, and I've always loved the style, and I've always tried to follow it. Amar comedy type of write up but what happened is I also like other people's styles. So যখন যেটা influence হয়, যখন যেটা মনে হয় যে এটা ভালো, I try that. You should try to follow somebody's style, but you shouldn't stick to it. If you stick to it, what will happen is you will not feel like you're doing much other than being a version of somebody else.
Okay, the next comment asks, what exercises do you recommend we practice to enhance our writing abilities? So if you write daily, what do we do?
Practiceর জন্য best হচ্ছে short pieces. Set yourself limits like 300 words. You can আমাদের গুগল করলে বেশ কিছু সাইট পাওয়া যাবে যেখানে টপিকের prompt দেয়. They will give you prompts on what to write আজকে, what to write tomorrow, and so on and on. I haven't really gone through those sites, but there's lots. Prompt থাকলে যেটা হচ্ছে যে you don't have to think about topics yourself. And you keep it short. You keep it to 200 words, 250 words, maybe 300 words. এর বেশি যাওয়ার দরকার নেই, এর বেশি গেলে unnecessary একটা stress, plus you're not really doing yourself a big favor going bigger. So every day, if you can stick to 200 to 300 words, that's a very doable thing, or every other day. Like I said, you need to make a list. You can make a list of prompts yourself, or you can get it from a site or an app. And based on that, just strictly follow that and try to write. যেটা হবে যে প্রথম একটা 5টা 10টা অত ভালো হবে না, but as you continue practicing, you'll see your style and skills develop.
Okay, so I think we can move on to the last tip that you wanted to give us.
All right. So the last part is, so my father, Ehsanur Raza, he's economics professor at George Brown College in Canada. So as I've said earlier, he used to read, when he was in Dhaka, I would see him as a kid, he would read all the time. He's always reading. Our house was full of books. What I didn't understand back then, what I understand now is he would read all kinds of things, and that has helped him develop skills to tackle almost any topic. I saw him read fiction. I've seen him read, he's an economics guy, but I've seen him do math. I've seen him read physics. আমার O leveler physics এর সময় আমি একটু আটকে গেছিলাম, and he helped me through. In university, I'm terrible at chemistry, and he helped me out in chemistry, which is odd now that I think about it, that my father, who's helping me out through college and university and all that, that must mean I'm a terrible student. So the thing is, he read, and that's my biggest tip. Read, but not just your comfort zone. Ami Jericho, I prefer humor content, humorous articles, humorous comics. Comics, I love comics, right? But that will limit me, and that goes for everybody else. If you want to expand your style, your vocabulary, you need to read, and you need to read things that aren't necessarily your comfort zone. For example, read a bit about political discussions, read a bit of Vogue and Cosmopolitan, if you know, if that's not your thing, মানে try it. যেটা হবে যে বিভিন্ন exposure, you get to see how other people present ideas, and the more you read, the more you understand একটা idea কিভাবে words এ translate করতে হয়. And to get a good idea about conversational styles, please, anybody, try comics. You might not like a particular type of comics, but there's something I'm pretty sure you'll like. Comics has helped me write in conversation styles more than anything else. So that's my main tip: read. So to summarize the whole thing, to write better, to get better output, we need to make sure our material is brief, concise, to the point. আমরা যাতে fluff piece add না করি জিনিসটাকে ভারী করার জন্য, so that we get rid of materials that make it sound unnecessarily wordy. And দিনের শেষে, once we shorten everything, we take some time out and we edit again so that we can shorten and chop out things even more. Because second time দেখলে, third time দেখলে, we can find out যে আচ্ছা অনেক unnecessary জিনিস আছে. And if you have a second set of eyes who can mentor you, help you out, even better. And once you've done that, in conjunction with that, you read. Do those things together, and there's no end to, you know, where you'll go as a writer.
So at this stage, I'd like to ask the people here in Zoom if they have any more questions or if they want to share anything else.
I think they're ready to go. Well, they are already home, so I think they're ready to.
So Bhaiya, is there anything more that you'd like to ask? You'd like to say at last?
Now, আমার যেটা ছিল যে, you know, keep it brief, keep it concise. So I'd like to keep it brief and concise and say, you know, if anybody needs any help, feel free to send me a line, send me a mail. I'll type out my email address here if anybody needs it. এছাড়া, you know, I'll make this, you guys can make the notes available to everybody here.
Yeah,
কারো
sure.
কোথাও লাগলে, you know, it's there. The thing is, I've gotten a lot of help over the years, and I'm glad, you know, even if I could help just a little bit today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Bhaiya, for taking out time from your busy schedule and being here with us. I'm sure we all have learned a lot from you and will benefit greatly from this session. And thank you, dear audience, for tuning in and participating in the workshop. I hope you had a great time. So thank you, everyone, for being here today.